Organisationally, I was looking for something that would help me with big systems change. The work we do here at CME is looking at how we end mental health stigma for people with mental health issues in Scotland. So, and that's across workplaces, with children and young people, in health and social care. So looking for that big system change, and also we were tasked with changing, creating a social movement. So some of the kind of stuck that I had really was, well, how do you do this? You know, how do you achieve this, and how do you make meaningful impact? So organisationally, I was really looking for something that would help me do that kind of big movement growing stuff. And personally, I was struggling with a lot of that stuff as well. But in my own head, probably professionally quite frustrated with the lack of progress that's been made, and I've been able to make and see my way through, and not really understanding why things are not changing as quickly and as effectively as I'd wanted to do. My intention last year was definitely around workplace and helping me to think through organisational change, I suppose, and big systems change, as I said before. But when I got to week 4 and we did this, is it Sensing the Field?
Yeah.
What came to me, it was really probably one of the most powerful experiences I've had, and I just was doing it in my living room, and I didn't expect anything, so I just, you know, I took it as it was coming to me, and what I saw was something very personal, and what I saw was my son and his wife and a small child. Now he was only 15 at that time, so you know, but this was a very powerful image of me as a grandmother, and I could see this small child, and it really floored me, because I did not expect it to come out of left field, because I thought it would be, I'll have a vision of of something that will help me challenge mental health stigma, and it wasn't. It was something really personal. So that was a real profound effect, but it really made me appreciate the self in this whole process, and that, you know, that when Otto talks, and of course talks about the role of the self and that internal locus really of where we're coming from, was really profound at that point. So I really got the bit about, this is not about learning how to do these things, this is about your role within this, and appreciating your impact and the impact that you have on the world, and in the way that we think. So all of that became so profound, and when I've come back this year, I set my intention of just having better relationships at home and at work, through this experience really, and it has helped, because I think it's made me a much more reflective practitioner. It's made me think about the way I do things in work, and how the way that we work with people, and it's about the thinking, because I know people have got good values and really passionate about what we do, but still we're getting stuck and doing the same old and getting the same results. So the U process really points out to me is that it's about this internal thinking, and how we need to help people to stop that presencing part of it, and let go of what's holding us back, and being aware of that. So yeah, it's that for me has been a real learning point for me, is this sense of self and sense of people within the process. So basically, to sum that up, when he talks about the success of an intervention depends on the interior condition of the intervener, and that has had a profound effect really on my approach to my work, because we can have all the great people and all the great training, but you just knew that there's some people that get it. But that articulates that for me, is that, you know, what I would explain is people get it, they know, you know right away when they get it, but it's this internal position that they're coming from that really makes a difference. So that's been very profound, I think, in terms of how I now think about how I do my work. Case clinic's really different to anything I've done before, really. I love the case clinic process. I'm going to use that now in my own work. We're having a learning event in a couple of weeks' time, and rather than standing up and doing a PowerPoint presentation about what we've done, blah blah blah, I'm going to ask the project holders to basically come with something that they've got a bit of a challenge with, and we're going to use the case clinic process to do that. So I've asked 5 people to be the case leaders and to give us their testament, and then get, because it will all be peers that's there, and I think that process, and I think as well the mindfulness part of ULab fits so well with the mental health sector, because mindfulness is such a core part of recovery for people. So I think it lends itself so well to the work that we do with people with lived experience, and I think getting people into that lovely, safe, and trusting, and that's so important. I think that space, I've always wanted to be able to create that space, and I really haven't known how to do that. And I've tried with all sorts of kind of, interactive ways to have training or, events, but I've never got that real sense of that peacefulness, that trust, that meaningfulness of talking to people and sharing with people in that really profound way. So the tools out of the ULab, I think, it's not just a theoretical. They say this is what we want to achieve, and this is why it's important. So there's great understanding. So seeing the iceberg model for the first time was like a real light bulb moment, because I thought I knew working in silos wasn't good, and I always knew I didn't want to do that anymore, and I'd always said to people, we're stronger together, but that's as much understanding that I could put around it. If we're working this together, that we're working with cross-sectional issues, especially with stigma and discrimination. You can't just extrapolate it out of people's lives. It's, in mental health, it'll affect all aspects of people's lives. So that intersectionality is so important, I think, for us to make progress. So to see that all just laid out in a beautiful picture, it was like, oh wow, it was so enlightening. It was actually so affirming and a relief. And I thought, that kind of, I've always thought that. But articulated beautifully, represented beautifully. So that was a real big light bulb moment, because I thought, I'm not just imagining all this. There's something broke here. So that was powerful. So the next kind of big light bulb moment for me was the feeling of disconnect I got from that. Looking at the disconnects within the iceberg model. When I did the sensing the field this time, not last time. Last time was very powerful. This time I just got stuck behind the gate, and I couldn't get past the gate, and I couldn't get the gate opened. So it made me I thought, I'm stuck, and I really wanted to get the gate opened, and I really wanted to get in there and experience something as beautiful as I'd had the last time, and I couldn't get past the gate. So that was really frustrating. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm just stuck a bit. So it's made me really think about the disconnects. And I thought, and it's made me think a lot about the disconnects in my own life and disconnects in work as well. So that has been another really profound bit of thinking for me and reflection for me. And I thought, and just looking at people, just passing people, and I thought, we don't even connect in work. We don't even look at each other in work. We have this superficial interaction. So that's made me very thoughtful, and it'll stay with me for a long time. I think that, that level of disconnectedness brings with it a level of sadness, I think, because we've got there as human beings. And to find, because you always think, oh, that'll not be me, and then you think, actually it is me too. So that's been two big things that I think that personally and professionally that ULab has really brought to my life, really. The gatherings, I think, are a real important part of, and I've been to just one or two of those, but that's, I think more of those would be really powerful for me. I think that'd be a good way to start engaging with people, because until you experience it, it's really difficult to explain, and there's a lot of words, and it is quite technically, there's a lot of language there that's really quite exclusive, and it's new to us, so I think there's a lot to get your head around in terms of even the you and presencing. These are all new words to us in Scotland. I don't know if they are to other people in other parts of the world, but it is a very new language, and it takes you a wee while to get your head around that, but the experience is indescribable, and powerful and lasting. So I did say that, more of those gatherings, more of those days where we talk about, and I'm really excited about potentially doing that further with u.lab Scotland, so I hope there's more.
Yeah.
When you're going through the weeks, it's hard to keep up, but the fact that it'll stay open.
Yeah.
And I think if one of your questions was where am I now?
Yeah.
Where am I now was, for me, I'm kind of at the bottom of the U, and I'm reflecting back up on some of the things I've learned and what I need to reflect on to let go of. And I have started to let go of some of those things. And one of the big things for me was the non-judgmental part of that. So the impact that's had on me as a professional and as a person is that constantly checking in of where the judgments that are coming in and trying to keep an open mind and an open heart about things. And I'm just sitting at the bottom of the U, kind of looking at what I've learned, trying to reflect on some of that learning. But I know I'm not leaning into the future yet. I've not started any prototyping, and I know I'm not leaning into the emerging future. I'm still there, considering and reflecting. I really want to, and I'm sure when the time is right. But I think now I need to just embed the learning that I've got, do a little bit more deep reading, and use some of the tools, and apply it to my work. And then I think I'll be ready to start, really applying it and prototyping it, and finding something that will just come quite naturally. I'm not sure I don't understand really what prototyping is, but I think probably once I'll do it, I'll reflect back and go, oh, that was prototyping. Yeah. We would never use mindfulness for a start, although mindfulness is such a core recovery technique for people with mental health problems, and people are actively encouraged to do mindfulness all the time. We would never do mindfulness in anything that we ever do. And I thought the fact that this is then built into the ULab process is core part. It should be so, just natural for people within our field to say, well, this is what we're encouraging people to do, so let's apply that and actually use mindfulness as a way of engaging and making, the work that we do much more meaningful. So that for me is, and I'm wondering, the first time I'm going to use it at the Learning Lab, how they'll react to that part of it. Because I know that a lot of the people there will use mindfulness in their personal life, but maybe not publicly like that in the group. We're really trying to do is, the social contact part of it, the mindfulness part of it, the thinking differently part of it, because we can't just keep going on doing all this to people, and people are dying in Scotland, people are taking their lives in Scotland. That level of disruption is happening. People with mental health issues have huge suicide rates. But we just keep doing the same thing. It's a bit, it's a bit more services, but it's that we need to revamp this whole thing and really think about beautiful things. It's just, it gives you hope. That it really has given me hope. In a sense, I'd got to that stage in my professional career. I thought I'm going to work with dogs or something because it's too hard. I'm not making progress. We're not making progress what we're doing here. But this has given me a hope to really, keep working and working with the guys in the case clinic, and the way that they've approached it, the way they've embraced it, and it's just fits so well with their work. I mean, a model of delivery, and I've really been inspired by the work that they've been doing. So I've just feel really privileged to have been part of that case clinic, and I'm so glad they let me join that. So it's the potential of a community of change makers in Scotland growing through this would be exciting. Because there's no issue. It's a non-issue based movement. It's about meaningful, authentic change, and it's not issue based. It's just people who want to make the world better and more meaningful for people to live in, but with a common understanding of what the barriers are to making that happen. So I like that. I really like that, because it's not siloed. As such, we're not coming to it, we'll come to it from CME's perspective, or we'll come to it as an organisation. It's just people from the whole gamut of experiences in society, really, that are just interested in this.